Coming to you live from the NorCal studios in Sacramento, California, this is Your Army Now. Monday? Yeah, it's Monday. Happy Monday, team. So, as you can see, we're running a little late. Hurry up and wait is what we talk about in the Army, right? So, tech issues, right? So, glad you could be with us on the inaugural Your Army Now. And so, what are we all about? Well, first, understand. You've seen people podcast before. You've seen people go live on Facebook and shoot a video and do those events. But this is the first time anybody in the military has broadcast across 5 platforms all at once. Fully live, interactive event. Why I'm talking about interactive, send your comments to us on Facebook and Instagram and all those places. Let us know about your events going on in your area so we can publicize them. So what are we for? Well, Your Army Now is to dispel some myths. So the other day, I'm in the grocery store, and nice old lady comes up, shakes my hand. She says, "Welcome home." And I was like, "From where?" "I live here." She said, "The war." I said, "There's a war going on in Sacramento?" So it just goes to show that there's just a disconnect, and the media is kind of controlling the narrative of what we do, right? Whatever they show for those 10 seconds on the news is what we're all about, but yet there's so much more. So if you're a future soldier, the show is for you. We want to teach you, teach you anything you might want to know. It's for your friends who haven't joined yet. Maybe this will entice them to join as we talk about events and options and stuff that happen in the Army. If you're a teacher, a community partner, educator, professor, we are not a last resort in terms of employment. In fact, we hand out more college money year over year than some of the biggest universities. Unbelievable. So we'll talk about that kind of stuff. So if you're between 17 and 34, you want a job? We're here. Okay, we have over 150 jobs. We'll talk about each of those. If you're a recruiter around the country, this is for you too. The intent of this show is to drive people to your events and, more importantly, into your recruiting stations. So make sure you send us some information on our Facebook about events going on in your area, and we'll be sure to get some people to you. So here's a funny story. I may look red to you today. You would have to see the studio set up because these lights are insane. Actually, that's not the truth. I just got back from Costa Rica. You see, the gym I go to has tanning beds. And for 10 minutes every day, I go on vacation. So this morning, for 10 minutes, I went to Costa Rica. So that's what we're doing. So here's what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to talk about the Esports Initiative. We're going to talk about functional fitness a little bit. We're going to talk about the Army's World-Class Athlete Program a little bit. We're going to introduce you to something we call MOS Monday, where we talk about a different job every Monday that you can do in the Army if you sign up and choose to do so. Of course, you have to qualify, et cetera, et cetera. More importantly, we know this month is Black History Month. And so this is pretty cool. On this day in 1920, Daniel Chappie James was born. Who was he? An African-American pilot and military commander. So pilots military to attain the 4-star on Christmas time, but they do a lot more than that. So he retired, was quite the public speaker, and then unfortunately passed away shortly after his retirement in Colorado Springs. So that's what's going on this date in history for Black History Month. So that's what we got. On the other side, we are going to talk about esports, functional fitness, world-class athlete program, and then introduce you to our guest and our job of the day, something close to my heart. Anyway, I don't hear any music saying we're going to commercial, so I don't know if we're going to commercial. We probably are. I kind of hear it a little bit in the background, but my talking points are over. I can talk a whole bunch. I'm me. Anybody that knows me, hey, on the other side, I told you what we're talking about. You're listening and watching Your Army Now.
There are those who stand forever ready, ready to defend the nation, ready to fight for what matters, no matter what.
Let's go! Get my round in there!
Do you have what it takes? Find out at goarmy.com/warriors.
All right. So, we're back. That was quick. 30 seconds is 1/4 of the 2 minutes you have to do push-ups on the Army's PT test. And it seems to go by a lot quicker than you would expect. So far, so good. We have made it through the first 7 minutes, I think, right? Without the computer going dark. All right, so there's been hundreds of people logging in to our site over the last couple days, trying to figure out what this is all about. So whenever you're on social media, any platform, Your Army Now. I promise at some point through my rambling, you're going to learn something, okay? Your Army Now. So esports. Last week, we did a prototype show in which we had a guest of a young man, Sergeant Andrew Waller, and he talked about this esports initiative. Soldiers playing video games. I don't know. It's cool, but that's where all the kids are. I told the story about my son. He's 22 years old, going to be 23, and his room is set up in such a way, the big TV's there, the speakers are everywhere. Sounds like an absolute war zone in his room. He is fighting and winning the war in there, I promise. Can't answer the phone if I call him, but he's fighting and winning the war. Fitness competitions nationwide. That is awesome. I unfortunately will not be applying to that. I can still run and do whatnot with the best of them, some push-ups and sit-ups, but I think this is a lot different than that. I have seen some videos. If you can do that, there was some, you got to be an awesome athlete for that, because I was looking at to those guys. Why I'm doing shout-outs, this is awesome. So Sergeant Hust from Minneapolis Battalion and Sergeant Westfall from Columbia Recruiting Battalion. Shout out to you guys. They reached out to us about the show, how they could help, and the way everybody out there can help us. Like the page, Your Army Now. Talk about us on Facebook. Share these broadcasts. That's going to get the word out. Because see, really, here's the truth. It's cool if recruiters watch this and recruiting personnel watch this, but you already know what the Army has. We are trying to reach those people that have no idea. I hear music at the world-class athlete program. Had 2 wrestlers here at the Tim Brown Wrestling Tournament a couple weeks ago. Little guys, but they could probably tie you up into a pretzel. Was expecting Hulk Hogan. Did not get Hulk Hogan. But it's okay. Hey, on the other side of the break, we're going to talk about an MOS or a job close to my heart, military police, with a special guest, Staff Sgt. Calvin Pearce. So join us on the other side. The music's there. This is your Army Now.
Our world is becoming increasingly dangerous. Today's soldier must continue to adapt to unfamiliar environments and technological advancements used by our adversaries. America's Army is the best trained and equipped fighting force in history, capable of conquering any foe, on any terrain. Do you possess the strength to answer the calling of a soldier? Learn how you can be trained in one of 150 careers and potentially earn up to $40,000 in bonuses if you qualify. For more information, visit GoArmy.com.
All right, team, coming back in from the break. You know what I noticed? 30 seconds. The music is still going. It's awesome. You guys love it? What I noticed is 30 seconds is definitely not long enough to use the latrine. For you people that are out there, we call the latrine a latrine. You know it as a bathroom. So, MOS Monday, Military Occupational Specialty. In other words, what's my job in the Army? So, 150 different jobs in the Army. And we're going to talk about one close to my heart because it's where it all began for me a few years ago as a military policeman. So, we're going to talk about the MP Corps. And I'm going to introduce our special guest. Do we got him? Right? Live in studio, Staff Sgt. Calvin Pearce. Right? It is Calvin.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay, good. Well, at least got that right. So we're going to have a little talk about being MPs. You're doing it now. I did it a long time ago. So when I joined, like I said a few years ago, you had to be 21 to work in any police department. And so when I was in high school, I didn't have any other opportunity. I wasn't going to be a security guard for 3 years and hope somehow that would get me in the into the police academy. And I met a recruiter, and of course he told me about MPs in the Army. And, you know, a little nervous about that, right? I couldn't picture an MP, you know, like a police car in the middle of a war zone, right? I just couldn't draw that connection and recognize that there was more to it than that. And so by the time I was 20, I was already a detective. And a lot of my friends couldn't even apply to the police academy yet. So I thought this was kind of cool. So here he is, NorCal's own, from the San Joaquin Recruiting Company, right? So thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Sergeant Major.
Okay, I think you hit that earlier, right? And I just kept talking, but it's cool. You got it. You know it's me, so it's cool, man. All right. So tell us about yourself.
So I'm originally from Washington State. My dad retired out of Fort Lewis, Washington. We settled down there. Joined up a couple years after high school. Didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I, joined the MP Corps. Been at it for 9 years. Been having a fantastic time. So that's pretty much it. I mean, I've got a wife and a kid. He's about 3 years old now. I was born in Germany. It's also where I was born, so we keep that tradition going. It's pretty cool.
Okay. So were you one of those kids like me growing up? You always wanted to be a cop?
Not really, Sergeant Major, but that is funny because, everybody wants to either be a cop or a fireman. I didn't really know what I wanted to do other than not go to college. I figured I had enough schooling at that point. So I worked for a little while. Didn't really work out the way I was hoping it would. So went and talked to an Army recruiter one day for some information. Didn't know you could be a cop in the Army. He laid that out for me pretty well. And then he offered me $30,000 signing bonus. And,
$30,000. I didn't get 30,000 pennies when it was time for me to join. They were like, nope, 5 years, that's what you get.
Shouldn't. And then I do.
So team-time job.
Like I said earlier, everybody wants to be a cop or something in the medical field. So luckily we've got, like you said, over 150 positions for them. Even if we can't work MP out for them, there's always a different route to get in there. We didn't even talk about criminal investigation division, but anybody can go into that from any job. So, I mean, I could come in as a cook and go CID later on. It just depends on the route you want to take.
That's a great point. So what you need to know, team, is, again, if you're interested in being an MP, look at the links below. I think we have a link to the job right there. All right, Sergeant Pearce, they're telling me I got to wrap it up. So thanks for coming in. When we get back, we're going to get to your questions, talk about events going on in the area, and wrap the show up maybe. You're watching and you're listening to Your Army Now.
As the most advanced and versatile ground force in history, the Army is capable of overcoming any challenge. But beyond our weapon systems and technology lies the true strength of the United States Army, the heart and soul of the American soldier. It's that heart and soul that's allowed us to be victorious for over 243 years, no matter the foe. Learn how you can be trained in one of 150 careers and potentially earn up to $40,000 in bonuses if you qualify. If you think you have what it takes to join our ranks and become something bigger than yourself, visit GoArmy.com or your local recruiter to learn more.
I don't hear anything except the music. There it is. Hey, so something very important. Special shout out to a Facebook friend. Must have just sent a comment. Amanda Rollins. Her nephew is an MP in Korea. Awesome story. Now, here's what I need you to do, team, so I can help you. If, in fact, you send a question or a comment, more so for the questions, please do me the favor of putting the city and state in which you reside with your name. And here's why. I'm going to have my team back here look it up real quick, the recruiting station that services your area, so that I can give you the address and the phone number to that recruiting station. So that's what we got. So Amanda Collins, thank you very much. Now, team, I got to fill you in on a little something. Even though this was the first show and you expect me to be the voice, tomorrow we're going to have a guest host. And why is that? Well, Sergeant Mark Bennett is going to sit in this chair and do the show. And if he gets more likes than me, he'll do the show forever. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But I have to talk about a benefit that we have. So tomorrow I'm taking Mrs. Sergeant Major Nelson to Stanford University Medical Center. And she's got to go through a procedure. No problem. Here's what I'll tell you. We take for granted in the military having this free health care. My mom is paying like $1,000 a month for health insurance. Insane. Now, my wife, in the time that we've been married, has probably had $2 million worth of procedures. And even with the best policy, which we can agree is probably an 80-20 policy, which means insurance picks up 80% and you pay 20%, that's like $400K that I would have had to pay. Team, the Army's an easy decision, I think. All right, so Rocky McCauley is an MP. Apparently he's hitting us up on Facebook or one of the platforms. That's awesome. Where you at as an MP? I'd like to hear your story. It's pretty good. All right, so events. Eureka, California. More importantly, Arcata, California. On February 14th, Humboldt University is having a career expo. So I would encourage anybody in the Humboldt County area that's going to this career fair, well, first go to the career fair, stop by the Army tent, and ask for free stuff, because they always have free stuff, right? Water bottles, T-shirts, luggage tag. And if you're really cool, get one of them take one, leave one penny holder things and drop it off at your local AM, PM, and then you'll help spread the word. So that's February 14th, Humboldt University Career Expo at the Humboldt University. Then, 21 to 23 February, first robotics competition. That's awesome. UC Davis, which is in Davis, California. Weird, right? University of California, Davis, first robotics. Here's why we're there. Because the Army, believe it or not, has a huge STEM presence. It's important to us. We have a big tractor trailer, nothing but STEM. STEM, what is that? Science, technology, engineering, and math. Okay? So the first robotics event, 21 to 23 February, UC Davis. Perfect. Now, let's see what's going on. So, does anybody remember, raise your hand if you remember how long MP school was. How long did he say? I think he said 20 weeks. It was only 17 when I went through. But he had 30,000 reasons, dollars, wow, to go for 20 weeks. All right. Again, if you missed it, the links at the bottom. You want to be an MP? You want to know what the MP job is all about? Visit the link. You want to know more about these events? There's links at the bottom. You want to know about esports? All those things? There's links at the bottom. And hopefully after this show, there's more questions. Or a question, how about? We didn't even get one question. Crazy, right? But we will. Baby steps, right? We'll get your events. Leaders, station commanders, recruiters, send us that kind of stuff, right? Because I really want to drive business into your recruiting stations and help you guys out. So tomorrow's show, we have Mr. Lance Azumi as a guest. This guy's awesome. So, not going to tell you his whole bio, but lawyer, went to law school, and was the speechwriter for Ed Meese, who was Ronald Reagan, who was a president, for those of you too young to know. I think it was his attorney general or something, right? Yeah, that's awesome. Lance was writing the script for him. Based on what this team's done for me today and got me on 10 minutes late, maybe I could have Lance write the script for me. Anyway, no, listen. First show, it's been pretty good. Not bad, man. We got through the tech issues. I mean, we are using, I don't know what computer we're using. Shout out to my boy Ronnie Creech at the G6. If you could approve that MacBook that's going to be coming up, requested, this can go a whole lot smoother. Ronnie, I sent you a message on Facebook anyway. I saw you had 2 friends, so I know that's probably not even your real site. So I hope you enjoyed it, team. I enjoyed it. Special shout out to Sergeant Pearce again for coming in, doing the interview, and the team and all of you guys watching. And so I think this is how we're going to wrap it up. There's the music. Team, I couldn't do this without my friends. That's Mark and Dylan and Brendan and even JB. Join us tomorrow. I'm Sergeant Major Nelson, your Army now. I'm going to drop the mic like this because I'm out.